Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to share how to use John the Ripper. And you might be wondering, why do you need to use a tool that essentially cracks passwords? Well, that's exactly why, is you know that attackers are going to try and crack passwords, but you might be wondering, how do they do that? What are the methods they use? And that's why it's important to balance out your knowledge between offensive and defensive cybersecurity. That's something that I focus on in my program, and I wanted to share this video so that you get an insight and you can even follow along, download Kali Linux, and actually walk through the steps yourself. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any new content. Let's give an example of cracking a password, since we're talking about passwords. And the goal here is to kind of show you how easy this is. What we're going to do here is I'm going to show you a tool called John the Ripper. You may have heard of it. If not, then you kind of get a quick introduction to it. So I'm on my Kali box here, and I'm in my temp directory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a password, and I'm going to then hash it, and then we're going to use John the Ripper to decipher the password. And it's just going to use a simple example, but the idea is to show you, again, what attackers can do and how easy this is. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is generate a password and hash it. So here's the command that you can do that. So I'm going to show you something first. So we're going to go echo -n. That just means don't insert a new line, and then our password of, let's say, password 123. And then the pipe means in Linux, I don't know how familiar you are with Linux, but in Linux, the pipe means do this next thing. So it's like you can actually put commands right after each other. So the next thing I want to do is do an MD5 sum. So it's going to take that password 123, it's going to run it through MD5 and develop a hash, okay? And I'm going to run it really quickly here and show you something. So this is password 123 hashed in MD5. That's right here, okay? Now, if you notice that for some reason it puts this space and a hyphen, all right? Well, I don't want that, because if I enter that in with John the Ripper, it's going to throw off and say, hey, this is not an MD5 hash format. So I'm going to use a command called awk to just grab the first input and write it out, excuse me, to a file. All right, so the command to do that is we're going to go echo -n and then password 123, and notice it's in double quotes. And then again, I'm going to pipe into MD5 sum, and then again another pipe, because I want to then use awk, and I want to put a single quote, and we're going to print, again, we're going to print out the first item. Actually, sorry about that. Curly brackets, print the first item, close those, and then we're going to output it to a file called mypassmd5, okay? And if all goes well, I'm going to hit enter. Looks good. So let's cat and let's look at the contents of mypassmd5, and you should then see the hash, and there it is. Cool. All right, so we're ready. We have this is the password that we stole or we got our hands on in the system, and now we want to crack it. So we're going to use John the Ripper. I'm going to show you how to run that command, okay? So you're going to say John, and what we're going to do is specify the format of the hash. So I'm going to say format equals raw-md5, and then I'm going to use a -w for a word list. And what a word list is think of it as a file that has a bunch of passwords. So I'm telling John the Ripper, format all those passwords in MD5. So it knows what the password is, and it knows the MD5 output. Well, then it's going to compare this value from our stolen password file. And if it matches, it's going to say, oh, well, I know that this password is this value hashed, and it's going to output it. Okay, so easy enough. So this -w is specifying our word list file, which is found in user share word lists, and it's rocku.txt, and then we specify the file that we want to crack, and it's my pass md5. Okay, so when I run this, if I've done this correctly, and it's been a little while since I've run John the Ripper, but what we should see is it's going to work its magic. You're going to see it's not going to take too long, obviously, because I'm going to tell you up front, I know that this is in the password hash file that I have, but you see that it's going to run through and do that process fairly quickly. And that rocku.txt file's got a lot of common passwords, so it's a fairly powerful password list. However, there are more that you can download. So, again, you could get a hold of ones that have even more inputs. So let's run this. And you saw that instantly. Right there it is. It cracked our password. Okay. Now, pretty cool, huh? Now we know what the password is. So let's do another one, but we're going to do it with SHA-1. So I'm going to clear the screen. And we're going to do the same command. Echo-n. And this time, let's just use secret. I don't know, just making this up. Pipe it to, let's see, SHA-1 sum, and pipe that to awk, and then we're going to print, again, remember to get rid of that first, that space in that dash, we're going to just print that out. Close this, and then we're going to output this to my pass underscore SHA-1. I don't know. So we're going to hit enter, and hopefully that works. So we do an ls, and it's cat my pass SHA-1. Okay, so there's that password in SHA-1 format. So let's run John the Ripper. So John -- format equals raw-SHA-1, and we're going to tell it the word list, so -w for word list equals user share word lists rocku.txt, and we're going to use the my pass underscore SHA-1, and hopefully this all goes well. And it did, and check it out, it cracked our secret password. So you see, and if you captured Windows, you could tell LM. There's all sorts of different formats that you can show that essentially John the Ripper can run. So it's pretty effective little program. It's not overly sophisticated, but again, it can be as powerful as you make it. Pretty simple to use. So this is something you can try on your own. One thing, if you're messing around with this and you're trying to rerun the passwords, you'll need to go into your home directory, and you can do cd space or just type your home path, and you'll need to go cd into .john, and if you ls in there, you'll see this john.log and john.pot. So this john.pot contains the passwords that it's cracked. In case you want to see what you've done, there it is. It shows you the hash and it shows you the password. Same thing, okay? Of course, you'll want to know what the hashes were, but it's pretty cool that it keeps all the list of passwords that you've learned in that file. So that's in the .john directory, which you won't see it if you list them out, okay? So you got to make a little note of that. And again, if you're trying to run this test again, then it'll give you this weird error. So let me cd into temp, if I can type temp. So watch this. If I try to cd temp, Okay, there are two passwords. So if I try to rerun those, so I'm just going to up arrow and try to run the command. So let's say I try to SHA-1. Watch this. You're going to get a weird message. No password hashes left. So if you see that, go into that .john, and then you can just delete these files if you want to rerun it, or you can cat out that john.pot file and it'll show you the contents. So really quick, kind of short thing, but I don't know, I wanted to show you in real life what some of the stuff you're learning. All right, so thank you.